Why am I in here doing a podcast when I could be outside disc golfing? It's about perfect out.
Go.
Yes.
So go.
So go.
I'm way too vain. I can sit here and talk about myself for however long. No way.
Hey everybody, this is Josh Schenkenfelder, the winner of the 2020 Quarantine Qualifier, and you're listening to Unstable Discourse.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Unstable Discourse. Here, Alex Seminary. Laugh at Ryan Fancher. Be thrilled by Sean Callahan. Marvel at everything that happens on Unstable Discourse.
Welcome in to episode 8 of Unstable Discourse. We're doing it again. It's me, Alex Seminary of Disc Golf Chicago, here coming live to you guys from the Delwood Disc Golf Shop in Lockport, Illinois, with Sean Callahan of Delwood Disc Golf. And Ryan Fancher of Unstable Disc Golf Gear.
Yo.
Jason Callahan of Bag of Tricks.
I once had a nightmare where I sneezed all my teeth out.
That's it. Let's wrap the episode up. Good. And Dana Vicich of Discmania. Dana, thank you for joining us. We haven't had a guest on in a little bit, so it's very cool to have another guest in the studio with us, and not just a standard guest, but a very special guest. I would say your credentials in the disc golf world are expansive, and we're going to get into all of that.
Yeah.
He's got to follow up Amy Laskowski, though.
Butt Sex Club.
So,
Ooh,
good luck.
She
He looks
laid it
nervous.
down.
Yeah, he's nervous.
If I stutter a little bit, it's because I'm nervous.
Okay.
This is my first time.
We will be gentle, and the first time can hurt, but it gets better and better.
Looking forward to it.
So the focus of today's episode is the Bearded One, which is a nickname that I think God knows when you picked that up, but you have become, I think it's safe to say your beard has become infamous in the disc golf scene.
Yeah, I think over the years I've been known more for my hair than maybe my play, whether it's my nice fro that I used to rock back in the day, or my mustache that I occasionally rock, and then these last few years I've grown a pretty big beard, nice full,
Keeping
red,
it fresh.
Deep red.
fresh.
Deep red beard.
Deep red.
Deep. It gets deeper if I'm happier. It changes with my mood.
Oh, it's like a
Really?
mood ring.
FYI.
Is it like tree rings where you can see the levels of your mood?
How old he really is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the focus of the episode is the Bearded One. We're going to talk about some of the things that you've been doing in your career in a disc golf career, because you work for Discmania and Disc Golf Park, which I'm not 100% sure on the difference between those two things. I mean, you'll have to explain that to us.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about your experience as a pro player, and there's a whole lot of stuff. We're going to get into all of it. But before we get into the Dana stuff, let's get into Fired Up.
Fired up.
Sean, what are you fired up about?
I'll tell you what I'm fired up about. Today, a couple of hours ago, we got an email from the PDGA saying that Illinois sanctioning is now open.
Finally.
Finally.
We have been getting hints about it for a couple weeks, and finally it came today.
Well, it needed to, because we have an event in very little time, 10 days or so.
Right.
June 7th, Sunday. Fraction Run Cup 2. Already full, but stoked on that. Stoked to see getting back to somewhat of a regularly scheduled program, and everybody else is. So it gets me fired up to see everybody like, yeah, oh my God, it's happening now. We get to compete.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm fired up about.
You
man.
were
It's
you were right on the cusp too of not just the Fraction Run Cup, but also the Unstable Open. You have two big events coming right
The
up,
same
and they
week,
were just hanging in the
technically,
balance.
Correct. And
Right.
that is what I am fired up about, being able to actually have the Unstable Open, which goes live in
8 minutes.
8 minutes.
8 minutes.
And actually having signups be live and be able to run the tournament in 2 weeks, which we didn't know for sure until hours ago.
Right.
That's a huge weight lifted off our shoulders. We can now actually plan seriously. I couldn't be more stoked right now.
We had to move so much stuff, as everybody knows, from March and April and May all get condensed into June, July, and August and September. So
it does
let's get
kind
her
of
rolling.
Yeah, it does kind of feel like late February at this point because like
We're brought back to when this
Right.
would have been going on.
Yeah.
Right.
Except the weather is 73 degrees and perfect. So not quite February, but the vibe does. Yeah.
Why am I in here doing a podcast when I could be outside disc golfing? It's about perfect out.
Go.
Yes.
So go.
So go.
I'm way too vain. I can sit here and talk about myself for however long. No way.
I'll keep it rolling. Let's do
All
it.
right, I'm gonna go golf then. If you just
No.
Dana can just talk about himself for 2 hours.
Yeah, I'll just
I'm
let
gonna
it go.
golf.
Yeah, sure.
Dana, what are you fired up about?
In the same vein, we had a big announcement just with Illinois being able to sanction, and then the Pro Tour and what's happening there.
Yes.
I'm pretty fired up about that for a couple of reasons. One big reason, we got a couple studs out of Illinois that are on tour. One of them being Gavin Rathbun. His first year on tour, worked hard all off season, trained, planned for everything, and then the rug pulled out underneath him with the COVID.
He did great at the Memorial.
Yes, he did. Well, he had a great caddy, so.
I'll give it up. Okay.
But yeah, I'm fired up for him, for Brian Earhart. So yeah, those guys will be able to, or beer fart, as I like to tease. But I'm excited for those guys, and I got a lot of pride for Illinois and Illinois players, and those guys they're good people, great players, and especially Gavin to be able to get out there, and I think he's gonna have a big season. He's gonna turn some heads, and so I'm fired up about that, being able to see some disc golf, and then for these guys that have worked hard and planned and done all the right things to go out on tour, and they're able to get back out there and do what they've dreamed about. For sure.
Amen.
Do you have any kind of involvement in the Pro Tour this year other than just spectating, or?
I'll probably try to play an event, maybe two. It's going to be tough. It's tough to plan, and all the news just came back that it's happening, and they've added some events for the missing ones. They're not going to be able to do the West Coast swing. With
I saw there was one in Oregon.
Oregon's dropped, and San Francisco.
Yeah.
And the two that are in place of those are Dynamic Open.
Yep. And then the Open at the Preserve or something along.
Kale's new.
Yep.
Oh, cool. Okay.
What is the full story with that? So Kale bought old defunct 9-hole ball golf course. Is that right?
I'm not sure on the amount of holes. I want to say it's more than a 9-holer because he's got two 18-hole disc golf courses out there.
Wow.
And generally speaking, you can put 18 disc golf holes on 9 golf holes. So I would assume that it was a bigger course than just a 9-hole golf course.
Okay.
But it was a property that he had looked at in the last year or two, and the people selling it were trying to sell the restaurant and the bar and the pro shop and all that. And that was too much of an undertaking. And then the opportunity came up here. Someone had purchased the building, and then so the owner was just selling the land. And Kale and I believe a partner or maybe a couple partners picked it up and found himself a quarantine project.
Perfect.
Amazing.
Dreams are made of situations like that.
Yeah, and I feel bummed for Kale. He signed up for a ton of tournaments. He was basically going to be on tour and traveling all around the world, playing tons of tournaments. And then the one everyone's saying, where's Kale? He's a world-class player. We want to see him out there more. And he was going to do it this year, and then it got pulled out from under him. But he made the best of it, and has an epic 2 courses, and is going to be hosting a Disc Golf Pro Tour event there.
Can't wait to see that. That's going to be great.
That's going to be great.
Jason, do you have anything that you're fired up about?
I am fired up about something. Earlier today, I found out that the 2 places that I've been doing trivia at every Tuesday and Wednesday night for like the past 3 years are opening back up. So it's only a matter of time before I am back in front of my people.
Back in the stage.
Doing some trivia again.
Booyah.
Very
patio service? Are they doing, how's that going to work?
They're all patio right now. So the first step is in place to get things back to normal. And that's enough to keep me fired up. So
awesome.
Yeah.
So Bag of Tricks can get back to doing what it does best.
Yeah.
Triviaing.
Yeah.
Triving.
Triving. Yeah. You take off the A. Triving.
Well, that's exciting. I've seen just your personality here in the show, but I would love to see what you're like when you're hosting trivia. So we got to find that. We got to see that schedule. I want to get out there and attend one of those things, preferably an office trivia night.
Yeah, that'd be great. As far as I know, I think I'm the only host within the company that has had an entire bar full of people sing the DuckTales theme song along with me while I hosted Disney trivia. So
Woo.
that's what I bring to the table. And I insist that you do it. I won't do the next question until everybody sings along and I get them to do it. And yeah, it's a good time.
Sure. Well, in the spirit of what you just said, I'm not going to move along until you sing the DuckTales theme song right now.
Life is like a hurricane here in Duckburg. Race cars, lasers, aeroplanes. It's a duck blur. We might solve a mystery or rewrite history. DuckTales. Woo! I don't remember.
All right, that's good.
That's
You just got to get into the woohoo. Yeah.
Round of applause.
Done.
Yeah, that's how I do
The
it.
man
How I
is
do it.
dead serious. You need to go check him out at trivia.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, I have my own little thing for Fired Up. I have been in early stages of conversation with the summer camp I used to work at once upon a time, and they have a course on the campus.
If you recall, it was a Barbie world.
Yes,
Right.
Okay,
yes.
continue.
So I was talking to them about the potential to set up a disc golf camp where we get a bunch of kids to take a bus from this area with their guardians or whatever, and we go up and we spend a weekend playing, learning the basics, and playing at. They have a much bigger course down the street called Meyer Broadway, which it's got somewhat of a reputation in the area. I think they hosted Worlds there at one point. So I would like to show the kids the kid-friendly course and then go down the street and check out a bit like a big dog course. Camp is something I always loved. So to be able to tie disc golf and camp together, that is super exciting. God knows when this is going to get off the ground because COVID-19 changes everything for everyone. So just stay tuned. I'll be posting about it as details get more solid, but I'm
great.
super excited about that.
Yeah.
All right, let's move into the trivia portion of the night, as Jason likes to say.
Motherfucking trivia portion of the night.
Oh, let's start with the clown horn.
Okay.
Yep.
Jason, take it away. Where are we at from the contest from last week?
So before we talk about who won, let's talk about tattoos. Who has the most? We'll start there.
Clearly.
Me.
Yeah.
Mr.
Sean does.
has the most.
Yeah.
How many do you have?
10 tattoos.
Is there one in particular that you would like to take a moment to talk about?
I have a.
No, put that one away. A different one.
No,
We don't want to see that one.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to see that
Oh,
one.
Nobody. God.
well, all right, let me put my.
Insert the
Hands
noise of a
back
zipper.
together.
going
Yeah,
back.
right.
Zzz.
Okay.
I have a portrait of my mother's father on my chest. He's my grandpa. That's how that works.
Yep, mother's father.
And I never met him. He died when my mom was 16, but I always felt like we would have been really close had we did meet. So I got his face tattooed on my chest.
Wow,
Very
that's
nice.
Wow, you got a tattoo for a real reason? Cool.
So
Oh, I got shitty ones. You want to talk about shitty ones?
Yeah, yeah.
I got Boondock Saints tattoos, dog.
Why would
Wow.
you say those are shitty tattoos?
Oh, I was too young for this. I was
Oh
too
my
young for
God.
this. They're on my arms, man.
It's one of my all-time favorite movies.
It's a great movie, but,
Anywho,
now it's on me forever.
Yeah.
worth it. Who's got the second most?
Is it me?
Alex,
Yeah, I've
Alex
got
does.
I've got
Alex.
3.
You have 3. That's
Yeah.
right. Is there any one that you would like to talk about, or are they all embarrassing?
My first tattoo was a lion paw print on my chest, which was a reference to it's actually a lion paw print with a smaller one inside of it. So think of that scene in Lion King where Simba steps into his dad's paw print.
Oh,
Sure.
fuck, dude.
And he realizes he's got
Ooh.
big shoes to fill. So my dad took me to see Lion King 3 times opening weekend. So that's always been a special, like, I'm Simba, he's Mufasa. My whole life, Lion King's always going to be one of my favorite movies. And so I put that right over my heart. And when I told my dad I got a tattoo, I think I was 19, or he was kind of pissed. And then he saw it and he was like, I love it.
Oh my God.
When you showed him, did you ask him if he could feel the love tonight?
No, I
Seemed
didn't.
like a hell of an opportunity there.
Yeah.
Real missed opportunity.
I didn't come here to cry tonight.
Yeah.
But
But-
then it was, I don't know,
There it
maybe
is. Reference crying again.
6 or 7 years
Unstable
later,
tissues.
he surprised me and got the same tattoo. So now he's
Oh,
got
Oh, no way.
Dude, now we're
Yeah.
crying.
Please,
That
we need
is
a
awesome.
minute.
Yeah,
Give
yeah.
us a minute.
Yeah.
I
I'm
can
gonna
care less
silence-
about your tattoo.
Yeah.
Well, you tell me your dad got the same one?
Same spot?
Holy.
Oh,
Get the fuck
Oh.
out of here, dude.
Yeah,
Too much.
That's heavy.
I know. We got to
Too
stop getting into
much.
these emotional things.
Yeah,
Sure.
right? Speaking of too much, Ryan, how many tattoos do you have?
Well, there was 10 and 3,
Uh-huh.
and I have 2.
2.
Bringing the total to 15.
15.
Yeah.
Would you like to discuss any of yours?
I have one that I just got in November. I had 2 Boston Terriers. One of them, unfortunately, had some neurological issues, and after a few months, we had to let him go. And it was a lot tougher than I thought it was going to be. So I got a tattoo of him. to kind of remember him. We've since
Hambone.
gotten,
Hambone.
his name was Hamilton. We called him Hambone, and he was the best. Like, I know every dog that has ever lived is the best dog, but like when you say like,
He was a pretty cool dog.
was he a good dog? No, he was the best dog. So that was rough. I got one on my leg, and we now have a new puppy. His name is Edison. We call him, we call him Eddie Spaghetti.
Yep.
But he is Hamilton reincarnated, and it is
that's great.
spooky to watch how he acts with our other dog and everything. And so I feel like a little bit of Hamilton is in our new dog.
There's a
It's
recent
crazy.
movie that discusses just that, isn't there? Where like a family has multiple dogs, but it's always the same one reincarnated.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, that does
A
exist.
dog's life.
Yeah.
or
I don't-
something
A Dog's
along-
Purpose?
Yeah. Dog's Purpose.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure that's what
I'm
that
not
movie's
going to
about.
watch that
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
not
don't.
going to.
Yeah.
No,
I'll end
I'm
up with
not-
another
definitely
tattoo
not.
if you watch
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Ugh.
Definitely don't.
Well,
R.I.P.
10, 3, and 2. That's a total of 15. So Justin G. Cook, I am looking at you. You are the winner of tonight's trivia.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Or
He
last
guessed-
week's
Good
trivia,
job.
I
Yeah.
should say.
He got 15 on the nose. He didn't split up how many each of us had gotten, but fortunately nobody else guessed
He
15.
didn't need to.
So he
Yeah,
didn't need
he
it.
was the only one.
He knew it. He was confident.
So
So
he's got a hat coming
Congratulations,
his way.
Justin.
Yeah, good job, man.
What's he winning?
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
TBD.
Yeah.
Something cool.
It'll be an unstable disc golf hat.
We'll let you know.
Or an unstable discourse hat. We'll see.
Yeah.
It'll be unstable for sure.
Either way, Justin, congratulations, and thank you to everybody for submitting your guesses. I know we say it every week, but we love seeing your guesses come in for these
they're
little
awesome.
challenges. So
Yeah.
We do.
thank you guys for participating there, and there'll be another opportunity to win some more stuff at the end of this episode. So let's move along into our calendar rundown.
Finally,
We have things.
we have things to talk about.
We got stuff.
In the month of June, Fraction Run Cup 2 is happening on Sunday, June 7th. Finally, in 9 days, after being postponed 3 times. Stoked for that. Full, crazy wait list. Can't wait.
I thought I started flirting with the idea of trying to get in, and then I looked at the
No.
wait list and I was
No,
like, no,
there's 21
not a
people on the
chance.
wait list.
Not
It's
gonna
all
happen.
division specific, but
This is one of many references to why when Sean or Ryan says signups are going live on this day at this time, you set an alarm because the opportunities to get in go quick. In
Yes, they
fact, Unstable Open registration just
We're
went
already
live.
up over 90.
It went live 11 minutes ago, and it's
Correct.
90 plus
93?
people.
93.
How many spots are there in total?
112.
So we're damn near
It's
full already.
full.
So
Yep.
Right.
we ain't playing when we tell you to set your alarms.
Right. We actually
Correct.
talked to a few people outside before we started this podcast, and they were panicking to set alarms because they had not.
Yes.
Like, it was full-blown panic.
That's 93 with 7 on the wait list already. So we're at 100 really.
Keep
So
going,
following
anything.
Saturday, June 13th, Unstable Open 2, as we just mentioned. We are
Is there anything cool happening at the Unstable Open 2 aside from awesome disc golf?
What are you alluding at?
Yeah, what do you mean, Alex?
I'm asking you guys.
Why don't you just tell us?
We're going to record some content live on site at the Unstable Open. I don't know that it's going to be a full episode, but we're going to be doing something content wise. So we'll be set up at Tournament Central.
Yes.
We're going to have mics. We're going to have some cameras.
We will have some swag.
We'll have some swag. I would say we're like 92% sure what we're going to do, but we'll have stuff there for you guys to be involved in. Everybody will have some opportunity to get a little bit of exposure. So that'll be a fun thing. We haven't done anything live yet. Everything we've done has been just recorded and then edited. So this will be our first chance to try something new and to get you guys all involved. So that is something I'm really excited about for that event.
Yeah,
Well,
it's gonna be great.
my fired up should have been the email that I got earlier today that the posters that I've ordered of my face are going to arrive on June 12th. So they will be available when we do the podcast live. And I'll be signing them
what
for the
a
fans.
weight lifted off
Yeah.
of our
my
chest.
Yeah, I'll be
God.
signing them for the fans that will show up
Right.
and be
Just
there and want
yeah.
a signed picture,
There we
signed
go.
poster of my face.
Man.
So yeah, very
All of
exciting
our
stuff.
preteen
We'll get Sharpies.
girl fan listeners are very excited
It
about
was
this.
advertised in Tiger Beat,
Yeah.
I believe. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Jason
11
will-
to 13
Jason is
year
gonna
old
be on the
female
cover of
And it
that
didn't
new-
cost as much as you think it cost to be in Tiger Beat. Yeah.
Cool.
Gold Sharpies.
Actually,
Yeah.
Jason, I don't know if you know, but you are you got to be there for the Unstable Open because you and I are going to be doing. I don't want to say we're going to be.
Is it sexual? I feel like you don't want to say it, but it is sexual.
No. What
Okay.
I almost said was like harassing or like heckling people, but that's
Heckling.
not what we're going to be doing.
Oh,
People are going to be teeing off, and we're going to just interact.
and
with
we're
them
going
in
to
some
pee them
way.
off
No.
while they tee off. No?
You and I will do because Sean and Ryan are going to be doing TD stuff,
Uh-huh.
and they'll be involved. But I think
Sure.
you and I are going to be running the show because we're just there for
Oh.
shits and giggles.
And this time I get to be the assistant to the tournament director.
Correct.
So that's a lot of fun.
To the tournament
To
director.
the tournament.
Correct. Yeah.
Right.
So,
How's it feel?
Make sure
That's
you're
Mr. Tournament Director too.
Oh, sorry. Excuse me, Danny. You're right. Mr. Ryan Fancher, tournament director.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm sorry for derailing that, but that is something cool to look forward to.
Yes.
After the Unstable Open, Sean, anything else on the calendar rundown?
Absolutely. So we were waiting to find out what was going to be happening with sanctioning in June to determine how many days would be available to run another unsanctioned event / fundraiser for Delwood and Trinity. And now we know. So the last 2 weekends in June, more details will come out, but we are going to be doing what's going to be called the Lockport Lockdown. 1 round at Delwood, 1 round at Trinity. Big fundraiser for both courses, cash payouts for all divisions.
It is the sequel to...
It is the sequel to Quarantine Qualifier, but we don't have the time to do the qualifying portion. So it's just going to be standings based on those 2 rounds and cash payouts for each division.
Beautiful.
So
Very
total
exciting.
of like 208 spots total across 8 divisions or so. So pretty excited for that. So look for those details by the time this episode drops.
So we got those 3 events, and then I have a little something to sprinkle in. I don't know the date yet, but I'm 99% sure that I've been working from home now for the last couple months, and I think my job is going to be permanently working from home moving forward, which makes running a weeknight league much easier for me. I wasn't able to do that as much before. So we're going to set up some kind of weeknight league at KLM. It could be starting as early as next week. I don't know exactly when, but I know I have the time and the drive to do it. So we're going to get some probably doubles going. I don't know, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday or something at KLM. So
Disc
keep an eye
Golf
out
Chicago, obviously. Duh. Yeah.
Disc Golf Chicago. We'll
Sweet.
be doing that. And then we've decided to change the team-based league that we were talking about before, in a way being pushed back to next year, but in a different way. What we're going to do this year is set up a singular event that's team-based. So there will still be that chance for people to sign up with their crews, fly their flags, and have a big showdown, so to speak. And the name of that event is the Windy City Scuffle. So stay tuned.
Yes, sir.
We will have details for that very soon. And very excited to get that out to you guys. So keep an eye out. We'll have it out soon.
I've been I've been wanting to see a team event here in the greater Chicagoland, Joliet area for a while. I think there's huge potential for it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So I'll be interested to see what you come up with. That'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, originally we were going to do several weeks worth, but because of all this issues, we weren't able to string it along because we've postponed so many tournaments and added them towards the end of the year. So it's going to be one event, but moving forward, it will become
for next season, or I guess it would technically be season 1 next year. But our dream is to have it set up where you sign up with your team and you designate a home course. So there's like home and away advantages. And I would love for it to be a match play format thing. So you have like your captains playing the other team's captain, and everyone has to designate what divisions they're playing. And it puts the leaders of those teams in real coaching type positions. They have to know who's right to play this person, next week. And we're going to try to model it after the NFL. So Sunday's game day, every team is playing one other team, and you have a win-loss record at the end of the season. And
I dig it. You should definitely check out the New England Team Challenge. Mm-hmm. If you haven't done any research on that, that's a huge they do it every winter in, of course, New England. But it's very, very competitive. Mm-hmm. They get into it. There's a lot of fun parts to it. It is competitive, but it's something that I've wanted to see happen around here, but personally haven't had the drive to make it happen. So I'm glad you're looking at something like that, and I think that'll be a lot of fun.
Once we floated that idea out a couple episodes ago, Tommy messaged me to bring that to my attention. I started looking into it, and it's huge. It started out with, I don't know, 1 division or 2 divisions, and I think now they have like 6, and it's hard to get into it. And it's like so popular in that area, from what I understand, that tournaments the tournament scene is not such a big thing in New England because most people are most excited about this. Now, this is just what I've heard. I've not looked into this personally, but
yeah, it's a seasonal thing. So they do it like through the winter months. They don't do a whole lot of winter tournaments or early spring tournaments because it runs in with the team challenge. So
cool. Well, I don't know what we're gonna call it, but the team challenge is a pretty cool name. So I have a couple ideas, and we'll figure it out.
Yep.
stay tuned. If you guys like the idea, let us know. Obviously, your enthusiasm helps, as I've said before, put wind in the sails of all these ideas. So, all right, let's move along to our local route.
Local route. All right.
Sean, go ahead.
I will. Thank you, Ryan. I'm going to shout out the homie, Jake, the Aquaman Bileski. He has been coming out 3 or 4 times a week to come and literally swim. He came out here in scuba gear one day to swim in the creek in Delwood.
It's funny. He does look just like Jason Momoa, too.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, spitting image.
So that's why we call him the Aquaman.
I don't know who this guy is, but if that's true, good for him.
Yeah.
Lucky dude.
He's going to get a good laugh out of that one.
Sure.
So he has been coming out 3 or 4 times a week, diving in the creek out here and getting everybody's stuff back.
Not just knee deep, but like underwater deep.
Swimming, rummaging around at the bottom of Fraction Run when there's raging rapids over the top of his head.
I'm imagining a guy in like a Scuba Steve outfit, like with an oxygen tank and flippers.
Now we need to make that happen.
Yeah.
Scuba Steve, damn you!
Yeah. No, it was just like a scuba. It was like a snorkel, like full mask.
Oh yeah.
Like future looking, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, the other day he came in with like 52 discs. Every day he's coming out like he's getting discs. He's getting people's stuff back. So
52 in one session.
One session.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
so
amazing.
he's killing it out here. Jake's the best.
And he brings it all up to the shop, right? So people can
brings
reclaim
right
them.
up to the shop.
The look on
What a
people's
guy.
faces when they get their disc back from like 2 days prior is priceless. So he's doing the work.
I played on Sunday night, and I put, speaking of Dana, I put one of my non-existent soft P-line P1Xs in the creek on 5 that I got from Dana. So that was heartbreaking because I only have 2 of them. I know Dana's probably got a stack of 25 in his closet. We'll talk about that later.
We can see the smirk.
So as soon as it went in, I just sent him a text right away and was like, Aquaman, you're my only hope, dog. Like, come on out. I need you. And he was out here ass crack of dawn first thing Monday morning.
Wow.
Found my disc and 52 others. So
Let's ride.
super dope.
Awesome. Yep. That is probably the most unique local route we've had so far. I really like that one.
Yeah.
For my local route, I'm going to shout out Mrs. Amy Laskowski. Past guest of the show, one of the best to ever have done it. Amy and I have been chatting a lot lately about ways to collaborate, and we have a couple really cool ideas in the works. Tomorrow, Amy and I are actually going to work together to make a video promo for the Feather Frenzy. So she's got all that still going on.
A little bit about this.
Yeah, that's super exciting. She's come up with some really cool ideas. I've been dabbling with making videos for disc golf for a year or two, and I really like a lot of the stuff that I've done, but I also feel like a lot of it is kind of repetitive. It's I need to evolve a little bit. And Amy put some ideas down that just blew my mind. Like, why didn't I come up with that sooner? Damn it. Anyways, I'm really excited to get that footage and get that stuff edited and see how it all comes out. And then we've also been talking a little bit about a mixed doubles league for next spring.
Ooh.
And exactly. And she is interested in helping with the camp idea. So she is just doing a bunch of stuff. And
she was here a couple days ago too. We were just doing disc golf scene for like 3 or 4 hours.
Oh yeah.
Just nerding out,
dude,
on the laptop. Disc golf scene.
We love her. She's the best.
Love it.
Okay. Let's move it along to Mr. Dana Vicich. Do you have someone to shout out for your local route?
Oh boy, I feel like with things being a little COVID heavy lately, and meaning not a lot going on, I'm gonna have to dig a little. Lauren Lakeberg.
Yes.
She's a local legend. Great person. You know her from her photography, LEL, the disc golf photographer.
Mm-hmm.
With these events starting to pick back up, we're sure to see pictures from Lauren. But
no doubt.
One of my favorite things is hopping on Facebook and catching a time hop. And more often than not, it's from an event years and years ago that Lauren took a bunch of pictures of. So she's documented, J-Town, she's documented the U.S. all over and all these great pictures. So yeah, that's my local route shout out.
She is now in the Hall of Fame of Unstable Discourse as the first person to be shouted out twice on a local route.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
she deserves it.
She does. She
totally
definitely
does.
deserves it. And last time we got into like how she just takes you into the event. Like they're not just photos, they're
moments.
It's so
Immersive.
it's moments.
Yeah.
Yes, it's so immersive. So yeah, it's a great call. And that's probably not the last time. We're gonna hear Lauren shouted out probably many more times
She's
over
gonna
the course
do
of the show.
200 more cool things this summer. So
Yeah.
all the more reason.
If you haven't before, go check out the disc golf photographer online, and she has got galleries upon galleries of photos from
So many.
last year to years and years ago, and they're all phenomenal.
And an online store with prints, and
Correct.
you can also get her prints here at the shop.
Yep.
That we have tons of awesome stuff. She's the best.
That moves us into the heart of the episode, the bearded one. So, as we said at the top, the beard has been infamous, and you've had many different styles over the years. So, this is the first time I'm really meeting. I mean, I've seen you around, but I'm meeting you in person for the first time, and there's like a semblance of a beard.
It's intimidating, isn't it?
A little.
Yeah,
I'm actually glad the full beard isn't there. I'm like, I was expecting to just be stared in the face by the beard, and we're kind of like on the same level beard-wise. I feel better about that.
Yeah.
Give me a day.
Give him 20 minutes.
Give him a day.
Do you are you discouraged by being recognized by your facial hair or not? Do you enjoy that? Is it just so commonplace now that it's just part of your?
Yeah, I mean that's I don't know. The hair has always been something that has come along with me, whether it's, as I said earlier, the fro or the different facial hair, whether mustache or beard, whether it's short or long. I'm cool with it.
Does it run in the family? Is it like a heavy, crazy Vicich family?
Oh, you should see pictures of my dad.
You know, actually, there were pictures of your mother and father at their wedding. Was that it?
Yeah.
And it was you.
Oh, dude.
It was you. It was you and your wife. It was
crazy.
crazy.
What is going on?
Yeah, the resemblance is not only from me and my dad, but strangely enough, my wife and my mom.
It was
they
unbelievable.
look very similar, but there's pictures of my dad from when he was in his mid 30s or whatever. You can't tell the difference. He had a beard. He was the main difference was he was bulked up a little bit more than me. I don't have that. I don't push a whole lot of weight around these days, but yeah,
me neither. I feel you, bro.
Yeah.
Anyways,
but yeah, we'll post those pictures up
Mm-hmm.
if you haven't seen
That'll
them.
definitely be part of the picture post.
Yeah.
so we have so many different things we can talk about. Pro player, you also have a family, you also have a full-time job in disc golf. You're a course designer. The thing that I want to start with, just because it's most of interest to me, is what it's like to have a full 9 to 5 in disc golf that pays the bills, because I think everybody dreams of a job in disc golf, and also most people don't realize it's hard to find a job in disc golf that actually is enough. So I would love for you to tell us.
You know what? According to Facebook, there are a lot of people that work at disc golf.
Oh, right. So many more.
I would beg to differ, sir.
So many.
Yeah.
Can you give us a lay of the land for what you're doing with Discmania? Like, what does your professional world look like in disc golf?
Yeah. So right now with Discmania, I am the wholesale accounts manager. So I basically run our wholesale accounts.
So you have to deal with Sean.
I deal with Sean.
What a bummer.
So wait, for people who are a little younger and don't really know what wholesale means, that means you're going to places and companies that sell discs and disc golf apparel, I take it.
Correct. So you could either be dealing with direct to consumer, where you're selling like one disc or a couple handfuls of discs at a time, or on the wholesale side where you're dealing with disc golf shops or sports stores otherwise. And so I deal with the wholesale side where we're selling bulk discs, large amounts. Or
you have to have relationships with all these different vendors and make sure that you understand their business, their needs, what are their customers like, and you're managing. Is it all across the U.S. or where's your territory?
Yeah, U.S. So we've got offices. Discmania has offices all over the world. In a couple different not all over the world, but in a couple different countries. Here in the U.S., I handle managing the wholesale side of things, and it's for the couple 2.5 years or so I've been there. It's grown.
Has it really already been that long? 2.5 years.
Yeah,
man.
I maybe even more. I honestly I don't know. The year once you have kids and things start happening, I don't know. I blinked and now I'm 36 and I'm working and doing all these things. But yeah, so I mostly U.S., North America, and then there's a few countries that our European offices don't service that we take care of. So
Gotcha.
I work with a few overseas.
How did you get this job?
Yeah, look at him.
No, I mean, did you see a job opening and apply for it? Or did you know somebody at Discmania who said, hey, Dana, do you want this job? Like, how did this happen?
No, it's a good question. So years ago, I can't tell you what year, but I emailed UC Maresma, founder and CEO of Discmania, said, I like what you're doing. If you ever expand in the U.S., keep me in mind. Didn't hear anything back.
Were you in sales already? Was that your job at the time?
No, I was playing disc golf at the time. It's kind of
with no job.
I mean, I worked odd jobs when I toured and played when I was more serious playing professionally. I always had a side job that I'd come home and work,
Gotcha.
whether it was at Pine Hills Golf Course or I worked at a distribution center for a while and all that. But yeah, I always balanced disc playing professionally and having a part-time job.
That's got to be tough.
But yeah, so I kind of had my eye to the future, and I liked what Discmania was doing. Their marketing was awesome. They had some good discs, and so I sent a cold email to UC, didn't hear anything. Sent another one to them maybe 6 months or a year later, and then I think I maybe saw him at a tournament somewhere, and was like, "Hey, did you get my email?" And no, I did not. He said, "Send another," and so I did, and then I eventually got in front of him, got a meeting with him and Erno, who's one of the main players in Discmania. Behind the scenes, we met at the first St. Jude disc golf event out in California that I was involved with, and had a meeting, kind of talked about where I was at in life and what I wanted to do, and I expressed interest in wanting to work in disc golf. Didn't have a kid at that time, but one was on the way. So I was looking to the future, knowing that I couldn't be running around chasing frisbees across the country with my friends, forever. So met with those guys and got my foot in the door on the disc golf park side of things, which is
that's how you started.
Yep, disc golf park is part of Discmania. It's our golf course, or our disc golf course side of things. So we design courses, provide everything that you need for a course, all the equipment, mapping, graphics, etc. Make it easy to do a course. So I got my foot in the door with Discmania through Disc Golf Park, and that was like a commission type job. It wasn't a salary or hourly thing.
Okay. So how does the commission on that kind of thing work? Is it the more courses that go in
Yeah, I mean, it's just like if you sell a course, you get a percentage of the total sale, and then there's design days and some other things factored in.
So I wish I would have realized this before, because we've had people ask us so many times when we do our mailbag segment and we read questions from the audience, how do I go about starting to get a course put in a park near me? And we always say start by reaching out to the park district. Now I'm thinking maybe we should have been sending people to a disc golf park representative that can help arm them with all the stuff they need to have those meetings.
Yeah, I think one of the best routes to go is having that local person that is interested and lives in that community, open the conversation with their park district or city, town, whomever, and then partner up with someone experienced, like myself or someone with disc golf park or someone like Sean, and partner that way. So you have that local connection, and then you have that professional side that can come in and make sure the job gets done correctly. Good course design, do it right the first time, and make it happen.
So you got involved with Disc Golf Park was your entrance into a career in disc golf.
Correct. So I was with as a disc golf park representative and course designer for a couple years, and then an opportunity came up to work for Discmania part-time. I jumped on that and began working with Discmania on the wholesale side of things. Discmania, traditionally, when we launched in the U.S., we used Innova to distribute for us. So we weren't doing our own distribution. So we used Innova East and Innova West. And so I came in when we were beginning to take full distribution over from Innova. And so it was a part-time job. So I was working disc golf park, selling courses, designing, and then also working for Discmania. And then, that went on for a while. And then it's been, we're right about a year that I've been on full-time with Discmania. Wow. So, there's been a lot of growth with the company, and the opportunity came up to work full-time, and I jumped on it and, haven't looked back.
It's unbelievable to me that you're doing, everybody says grow the sport. I think grow the sport gets thrown around so much.
Too easily.
It's an easy thing to say, but like to make it happen, even in my small experience running events through Disc Golf Chicago, I ask myself all the time, what are we doing to grow the sport? I know we say it all the time, but what are we doing? I can't think of a more real way than getting more courses put in the ground and bringing the tools to the region, that like making sure that people have access to discs everywhere in the country. Those two things are like what grows the sport more than those two things. It's like the dream disc golf scenario in my mind.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
I just wanted to say that.
You guys want a hug or real quick?
No, thank you for everything you're doing. That's all I want to say.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we have a little background on what you're doing for work, and hopefully some listeners hear that and think, oh, I can get a job like that in disc golf. Amazing. Like, I'll pursue that. And that's really why we do
and
this
all you
kind
had
of
to
thing.
do was send 2 emails.
That's it.
One that didn't go through, and then one that finally got to him.
Yeah. So
Boom.
let's move into your stuff. Let's get to know Dana, the pro player.
Yeah.
I mean, at what point did you in your career think, okay, it's time to go pro. I'm good enough. I think I can go all the way. I think my skills are to the point where I can hang with the big boys. When was that?
And this, I mean, the listeners need to remember too that this was in like mid 2000s, right? Your first pro year was what, 2008? Full pro year?
Yeah, full. So I played my final year as an AM was 2007, and then 2008 was my first year as a pro, playing pro.
So you were in your early 20s at that time.
Yeah.
So did you play like local pro MPO tournaments for a while and then jump into touring, or did you just say going for broke, let's do it all at once?
Broke came later. But no, I played in 2007. I played as an amateur and then moved up after Am Worlds to play pro. And then that next year, 2008, I was playing mostly local events because I was working. I had a regular full-time job. So I was working for the Pontiac Park District and working on a lot of weekends, Sundays mostly. So I was playing in 2008. I was playing mostly just local events when I could fit them in or catch a weekend off. Mm-hmm. That wasn't enough for me. Let's
paint a picture for the people that don't are recently getting into disc golf, because now we're talking about 12 years ago. Like, who are some of the guys that you were competing against back then when you moved from MA1 to MPO that we know now that are legends like yourself? Like, who are we talking? Like, who were the big dogs? We just had Twan walk up. We had Al earlier. Like, are those, because you and Al kind of around the same time kind of shifted into MPO. So
yeah, Al Hermosillo, one of the best putters around. Really, in his prime, put him up against a lot of the big name players. But yeah, Al was a name. Tom Matasevic came up at the same time. Dave Kay. Then we had the old school guys, Ryan Gramillion, not really old school. He's just been around forever.
Right.
Ryan Gramillion, Jason McKinney. Those were some of the local names. Rob Strasser. He's a Bloomington Normal guy, but a legend, just an incredible player. I learned a lot from him when I went to college down at ISU, but he was a master's age player and he would win tons of MPO events around here. So he was one of the names to beat. Nate Yem in Peoria, Trevor Demlow, some of those guys, names you guys might not know, but those were some of the big names around then, playing in that advanced into MPO in that 2007 to 2008, 2009 era. Yeah. So those were some of the names that were that I was competing against, and I wasn't all that good. I would have some ups and downs and compete for some wins every now and then, but miss cash just as much in those early years. But yeah, Pontiac, working full time there. I think I worked for a year, and then I ultimately said this isn't for me. I quit my job, bought a van, and then kind of hopped on disc golf tour. I think that was in 2000. That had to be 2009 then.
That's like the other disc golf dream, is to just get a van and go do the tour.
Yep. I dreamed
except this year.
Oh,
yeah, I know.
I feel terrible for the guys now, but
too soon. Let's just get a van and have payments on a van.
Yeah.
Well, actually, they made more money by not playing and traveling.
Really?
No, I mean it's
because because they didn't have to travel and then not win. Yeah, I see. Yeah,
sorry, bad. Right over.
Yeah, I did. Sorry, that's okay.
Yeah.
09 was the first year, though, you said? 09, or was the first year you were full-time touring?
Yeah. I mean, I think I quit my job like right around this time, like late May, early June, and then sometime in that area. And then I hopped on to the East Coast tour, went out to Pittsburgh, for the Pittsburgh Flying Disc Open, Vibram Open, Cranberry Open out in Connecticut. Played some of those events, and then came home, played local stuff, and then that next year, hopped out with the Memorial. And the way I treated touring, wouldn't really call it touring, but I would go out on the road for 2 to 4 weeks at a time, and then come home and work, play locally, play local events, and do that, and kind of balance things out that way. And it worked for me, and it was a good way to kind of dip into tour without leaving home for 5 months at a time.
Of all of your pro tour events and all the things that you've attended, what are some of the best memories of being on tour? Not necessarily playing disc golf, but just being out there and traveling and doing all that stuff. Like what are some things that you'll always take away from touring?
That's a great question.
Yeah, good question. When I think back about traveling around, it's just one of the things that comes to mind is Maple Hill. Going out to it's now the MVP Open, but it was the Vibram Open and even the Maple Hill Open at some point. But that was always a special event just because the course is amazing. New England disc golfers are amazing. All the friends that I made on tour were going there because it was an amazing place. So it was just this special location, this special course, this event had all these different things. And it was more than just the disc golf. It was all the side events and the people and everything. Thinking back my touring days, like the happy place was Maple Hill.
Yeah, I've heard a couple people say it's like going home when they go to that tournament on tour. Yeah.
The finishing green there is so cool. Like every time I see it, I'm like, how can I at least do 20% of this out at Delwood? Like, how can I do a really cool finishing hole that makes everybody feel like,
there's not much like tapping out on 18, with a crowd full of people there, cheering and hanging out and having a good time, or the Frizzaks, which is this wild group of disc golfers out that way that they're gambling. They're betting on everything from shots making the green to what color disc is going to make the green to how many grip bags are going to be coming up on the green. And this is pre like UDisc days and all that, so you couldn't cheat or do anything. Like just the camaraderie and just the happiness, like what Steve Dodge built out there is just incredible. And the property's amazing. The golf it's my favorite course, and then just all the people. That's for my touring days. That's the thing that will stick with me is Maple Hill. And one of my best memories, I was hanging out after the event. I think I played pretty well that weekend. Not top 10 or anything, but maybe,
I've got it pulled up if you'd like to know. I have your whole PDGA page here ready for you, Dana.
I don't remember what year this was, but
sure you don't.
They used to give out the Spirit Award, and
what does that mean? Does it just mean like the guy who really tried, and we should like acknowledge him for trying super hard?
It's not really trying or cheerleader related.
Okay.
Spirit, but just kind of like embodying the spirit of disc golf and the flying disc and all that. And yeah,
that's a lot better than what I had in mind.
And
when I was like 13 at that camp I used to go to, I signed up for water skiing for the first time, and for 2 weeks, every single day, I did not get up. I couldn't pop up out of the water. Like the thing kept popping out of my hands. And on the last day, they gave me gloves with a special grip that helped me get up. And then at the campfire that night, they gave me the Spirit Award because I tried so hard for 2 weeks, which when you're like 13 or 14 and trying to look cool in front of the girls at camp, and they're like, let's bring the little guy up who tried real hard for the last couple of weeks. Let's just say I don't have that award anymore.
If you tell me that Spirit Award was a trophy that was Mufasa's paw print, with Simba's paw,
no, it was a broken. It was a broken ski.
Mind.
It was a broken ski that they painted on at the craft shop.
Jeez.
So this Spirit Award sounds way cooler.
And it came from, they built the award around Andrew Sweeten, Big Dog. He works for the PDJ now, but he was a East Coast guy, and he would come out and volunteer for the event and just had this, aura and spirit about him. And so Steve Dodge made the Spirit Award, and I won the Spirit Award one year, or was awarded. I don't want to say win, but it just caught me off guard, and walking up and to receive that on the 18th green after the event, just giving high fives to everybody and hugs, and that's
emotional.
That's a moment that trumps, maybe playing well or cashing or almost winning or doing whatever at a big event like that. That's a moment that'll live on.
That's huge. Yeah.
That's amazing, dude.
People are like, hey, you embody what we all think a disc golfer should embody.
We strive to do.
We try to do
incredible.
Yeah.
Wow. Congratulations. I mean, I know
Taco Bell sent me a Spirit Award once.
Because it was your third time through the drive-thru that
Nobody
day.
has more spirit than you, Jace.
You embody what we want every American to be.
Yeah. It was just a 5-gallon bucket of the Diablo sauce.
Of Diablo
Right.
sauce.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still have a gallon
great.
left.
So here's a question for the beard. What came first, the sponsorship with Vibram or your first Vibram Open? How did that all come to be? That was your first disc sponsor, Vibram, right?
Yeah, Vibram.
Some people know that, but give us the history on like how that evolved and did it have anything to do with the event and Steve and obviously.
Yeah. So that first year or that first tour, I should say, after quitting my job and, hitting the road, I went out, and was solo driving around in my van, and I met Steve Dodge, who is Maple Hill is his course, his property, and the MVP and Vibram Open. That's it. He's the tournament director of that. Of course, many of you know him from the Disc Golf Pro Tour. But yeah, so I met Steve, and somewhere around that time, Vibram was getting involved with disc golf, and I can't remember if it was after the first year I'd played out there or the second year, but he called me that winter and said, hey, would you be interested in maybe, testing out some Vibram discs, and, if it works out, maybe we can put you on the team. And yeah, absolutely. That's that's a dream.
Thanks for asking.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Right. Not a fan of rubber myself. Yeah. But yeah.
I hate rubbers.
Yeah. Right.
No,
Clearly.
So on that note, let's talk about your kid.
Two.
That's a condom joke, folks.
Yeah.
Got it.
Keep it moving.
But yeah, Steve called and, said, if I send you some, will you throw them and let me know? And he did. And I said, yeah, I like them. He sent a Vibram Ridge and maybe a Summit or VP. I can't remember exactly what. Yeah, that quickly turned into a sponsorship, and an amazing sponsorship. I think I played for Vibram maybe for 4 years. I'd have to sit down and do some math. I'm not strong with math, but I feel like I did a really good job of promoting them and helping grow their brand. And I ran it.
Certainly in this area. I mean, I remember like you were synonymous with the thought of anything Vibram. Like I remember as a early, my early years in disc
bashes and all
of
those things. We were heavy into that for a while.
Yeah. Your influence on all the brands that you have been a part of is been super apparent.
Pretty clear.
It's cool to have watched over the last 10 years.
I felt like I did a pretty good job with Vibram, and the discs were really good. The putters and mid-ranges, I think, really shined more so than the fairway and distance drivers. But one of the cool things about being with Vibram was they had a killer program for sponsored players. For bonuses, I was getting you could choose either a disc or cash, like $5 cash for every $20 you won in a PDJ event.
Oh, wow.
And so I would just get discs and then run events and push Vibram and get more Vibram in people's hands. And I'd say Illinois was a really huge Vibram state for a while, and I take pride in the effort and the time I put in helping make that happen. And I was able to have an open bag. So I basically got to use the best discs from every manufacturer and then also throw in, the best Vibram discs. And then the discs were good. If you can, if you go look back at my stats on those years I was with Vibram, I was 1,000+ rated player for a long time. And a lot of that was, with Vibram rubber and an open bag.
In the last, year, we've seen the collaboration between Discmania now and Latitude 64. If I ask you straight up, what is your opinion on that? That is a loaded question. But I'm going to ask you, what do you think of the evolution of combining those two manufacturers to create these discs, like the Tactic? Do you see that moving disc golf in a positive way, or is that just kind of another way to sling discs?
Honestly, I don't want to sound like I'm drinking the Kool-Aid too much, but it's brilliant. I love it. It's smart. It's forward thinking. With Discmania, for those of you that don't know, Discmania does not produce their own discs. So we don't make our own discs. We don't have manufacturing in-house. We work with partners. Traditionally, we've worked with Innova for our first 10+ years. And then this last year in what year? Is it 2020 right now?
I think so.
Maybe.
It's either 2019 or 2020. I can't remember.
Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know. But okay, so 2019, we launched a partnership with Latitude to produce our Evolution line. And then we also launched a product line with Yukun discs out of China for our active line. So what we did was all of our discs were Innova made up until 2019. So then we have a couple different places where we can get discs and different discs and fill in the lineup. So thinking to this, these last couple months, it's been having those different partners has been big because we're, if one partner is unable to get us discs, then that means we don't have discs.
Right.
So over in Latitude, they were able to continue running and keep us stocked up. And then China had its issues, and Yukun is in China, so we're a little bit delayed with them. But having multiple partners making this for us is, I think, in my mind, an incredibly smart thing to do, because not only does it help with the supply chain, but also, you think about disc golfers. You've got different disc golfers that are brand specific, like I only throw discs made by Innova, or I only throw discs made by Latitude. So now what we're doing is, with the Evolution line made by Latitude, that opens us up to maybe the Trilogy fans that might not have thrown Discmania in the past. And then with the active line, what we're doing is I don't want to say cheaper disc, but the price point is lower on the active line. So what that does is help us get more discs out there for cheaper. So you can, if you're starting to disc golf, you can, instead of $9 for a D-line disc, you can pay, $7 for an active line disc. So we can help grow disc golf even more so with this lower price point of disc. And honestly, the plastic is really good.
And I would assume
fantastic. The active line baseline stuff feels great.
And I would assume at wholesale pricing that probably works a lot better for the places like schools and the clubs that need to fundraise and don't have the larger budgets that would love to have discs. I bet the active line would be right up there.
Yeah, the active line, it opens doors for us to easily get them set up with disc golf at they can save some money.
Sure.
So and growing disc golf, one of our goals at Discmania is to grow disc golf globally, and the active line is, I think, going to help us do that at a quicker rate.
Do you know how Innova took you guys also now using Latitude as a manufacturer supplier? Was that something that hurt the relationship between you two, or did they see that as something that was evolving and needed to happen?
Honestly, I'm not privy to that information, where I'm at.
Or you wouldn't tell us either way.
Well, I could only assume that, they understand.
I don't think they're hurting for business.
Because Innova, they make discs for a number of companies, and we're a growing company, and it's, we need a lot of discs.
Right.
So it takes a little pressure off of what we need from Innova.
Yeah. As a former mostly Swedish plastic thrower, now feeling, and also Discmania and some Innova, now feeling the Evolution line of discs, it has a very Latitude feel to it. And I think that's going to bring, just what you said, a lot of the Trilogy players that are very loyal. Once they get those in their hands, I think they're going to realize that there is more to it than just Trilogy plastic.
I think the flip side to that too, for me, is somebody that wheels and deals discs all day long and talks with people. It's exciting for me when not only that I see a brand start to form from another brand, but when you guys are building the lineup as quickly as you are and filling those gaps, not only from the originals to the Evolution, but now, you've got the Link, you've got the Tactic, you've got the Essence, the Enigma, the Instinct, the Method. You can build a bag out of just the Evolution line at this point. So it's really kind of cool to see this own tree sprout on itself. I can't wait to see the first dude that's I only throw Evolution line.
Yeah.
That's exciting. That's kind of fun.
From the way
that
people come out to get those discs on release day, you would think everybody only has Evolution discs because they are you can't get your hands on them on opening day.
Yeah. Links and Tactics are just flying off the shelves and shelves and DDG.
Yeah.
So.
And one thing, Latitude plastic, I had always heard. I never actually threw too much Latitude just because I was with Vibram, and then had my bag pretty set, and then Latitude kind of emerged. You hear about the glide that that their discs have, and we came out with our first disc last year in February was the Instinct, and it's a fairway driver. And first throw immediately was like,
it's true.
It's real. There's something about the Swedish plastic or the mold or the plastic combination that they've got really good glide, and that's been the story with basically all of the releases that we've done in the Evolution line is you notice that there is an extra notch of glide on those discs. And with our most recent one, we just came out with the Eagle McMahon Razor Claw, which is the Tactic, but right before that was the Essence. It's a speed 8 disc, and I think the glide is speed or 6
glide.
And you
don't
look
see that
at
too often.
And I'm not a flight numbers guy or anything, but I saw that, and up 6. I don't see that too often. I don't speak flight numbers, but throwing the disc, it's insane. It really does glide. And then you hear UC Maresma talking about throwing the Essence and saying that I'm getting birdies that I've never gotten before with this disc because of the glide and the flight of it, and it's not just a hype thing, but it's the Swedish glide is real.
Yeah, the Swedish glide is real.
Yeah, Jason, what do you think? What is the first thing that comes to mind when you see a 6 glide on a disc?
I want to know what you guys are talking about. I have been replaying movies in my head the whole time you guys have been talking.
No. So a glide of 6 on a disc. Technically, there is up to a 7. How long the disc stays in the air once it's thrown?
Is that measured in how is that measured?
1 to 7.
Right, but what is?
Yeah.
How did they differentiate a 6 between a 7? What does that mean?
Dana, any insight on how that number is produced?
Oh boy, as I'm going to go back to I'm not a big flight numbers guy.
Sure.
Even though
none of us are, but they're still real.
Yeah, no, the flight numbers are important. And it's a good way for you to compare discs across brands. But when I came up, there wasn't flight numbers. Flight numbers is a relatively new thing in the last 5 to 8 years, we'll say. And so I didn't know anything about flight numbers, and then they came out, completely ignored them. But now that I'm, I work in the disc golf business, I'm paying more attention. I know it's speed, glide, turn, and fade. But the main thing is it is kind of a made up thing.
Yeah, it's arbitrary.
Yeah.
So it's real, but not
compared to every other disc that's made as they're made.
I imagine there was a wind tunnel that they shoot these things down, and that's how many seconds.
You would think, you would think that.
Wait, does that not exist?
No,
I always assumed that there was
number on a disc.
I assumed they had some kind of
science there, right?
A sling that threw the disc perfectly into the wind.
I talk about that bi-weekly. Why does somebody not have
How is there not a machine that dials that exactly for us?
Right. That throws
based on
10 destroyers and throws 10 Enigmas and throws 10, Rock 3s.
Into a laser field that exactly measures.
Right. It doesn't exist.
I think Discmania needs to partner with an F1 team.
Yeah.
And
I think Discmania just needs to pay
physicists.
me to do that because I've already got it in my head.
Yeah,
You've got a wind tunnel. You've got a wind tunnel at home.
Yeah, I've been sitting on a wind tunnel for the past 10 months wondering what the hell I'm going to do with this thing. Now I know.
UC, are you listening?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Please.
I would like if we could do some rapid fire questions at you. Just boom, you got to answer on the spot. Everybody game for that?
Okay.
Do you have a bunch of those lined up?
No, but we're gonna do speed dating style where I'll ask something, you answer, then Ryan goes, then Sean, then Jason.
Okay.
Sound fun?
Yeah,
sure.
Let's do it. What type of crew did you hang out with in high school? Was it nerds, goths, jocks? What was where did you fit in high school?
I walked a tightrope. I was.
So you were with the circus crowd.
Yeah, I was.
The clowns, the jugglers.
Trapeze. There was a trapeze in the lunchroom.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
He was the circus kids.
Sorry, go ahead.
I don't know if we had a circus crew in high school. If we did, I didn't hang out with them. But I was friends with everybody. But I was very into sports. 4 years of high school, I played 3 sports almost every year.
Wow.
So I was playing soccer, baseball, basketball. I swam.
So if you leaned one direction, it had to be the jocks.
But I was doing that as a hippie. I had long hair. I was going to concerts.
You might have been in with the hippies then.
I was in, and then the goth kids love the goth kids.
Sure.
Wow. I liked hanging out with a wide I love to compete. Competition is what, that's something that I really love. It drives me. But then, I like other things like chasing Frisbees around and playing catch or joking around with whatever, different type of person. So I was all over the place, honestly. Like,
okay.
And that's kind of,
I believe
where I was in high school. And,
it's a political answer, but I believe you. So I won't push on it.
You would, if you saw me playing baseball, you'd see a huge fro sticking out. I had white spikes from like the 80s that I found.
Like a picture of that.
Yeah. Please send us a picture.
So, what I would, pitchers would look at me and they say, who's this guy? He's a joker. And, but I thought
you were going to say, who's this clown? And I was going to try that.
It was a circus.
But I was very competitive and, but also in the same breath, I might've been, running, go see a concert over the weekend after a sporting event.
You dabbled all over the place.
Concerts?
I was all over.
He was at Fish concerts.
String Cheese Theory. Is that a band?
String Cheese Incident.
That's, yeah.
I was
you were a jam band guy, weren't you?
Yeah, definitely jam bands. Yeah. Widespread Panic was my jam. So I saw my first show, Alpine Valley, on July 15th, 2000. And then from there, I don't know, saw somewhere between 50 and 100 shows between now and then. It's like Aces. I lost track.
Oh, wow. Just like me. I can't count past 2. Ryan.
What is the worst disc you've ever thrown? The one that you picked up, threw one time, and you were like, no, never again.
Oh, boy.
There's got to be one.
Yeah.
And if you say the arrow be arrow, this episode will never see the light of day.
The worst disc I've ever thrown. This is supposed to be rapid fire.
Sorry.
I know there's some terrible ones that I just want to never touch again. Let me look around. We're at the beautiful Delwood shop. How many discs are here, Sean?
Oh, we've got roughly 4,000 to 5,000 discs in here.
I'm grabbing one of these new Paul Macbeth discs. Which one is this?
That's the Malta.
I don't know. One of those discs is terrible. I think it's the Malta.
One of the discs you got here in the shop.
I've never thrown it, but just picking it up. God bless Paul Macbeth. He's one of the best to ever play the game. Can't argue about that.
So just holding it in your hand, not a fan.
No, I haven't thrown it, but just picking it up feels almost as bad as this Andrew Presnell drone. And I'm not trying to pile it on, but just for my hand,
We're 2 for 2 for Discraft here.
Yeah, right. It does not feel good.
Anything that's not Discmania is the answer, I think.
Well, you know what? You're not going to like this. I do throw a lot of Discmania. I love it, but I picked up what I thought was going to be a great disc for me, and it was the the MD.
Mm-hmm.
And the MD felt like garbage, and I don't know why. It was just the shape in my hand. I couldn't get into it, and I was so excited to get that disc, but that's the one.
Yeah, the MD kind of, depending run to run, it molds up a little bit different. And I could see how you wouldn't like that. And you mentioned the FD. Coincidentally, the FD just doesn't jive in my hand. Yeah, it's one of our, it's our flagship fairway driver. Mm-hmm. It's one of the, it's a great fairway driver, one of the best in the game, and that's no hype right there. But the FD, just I've only bagged a handful of them in my last 4 years or whatever throwing Discmania, and it's kind of weird that with it being one of our best selling discs, it just hasn't jived with me. But
I tried it a couple times, but never took. Yeah,
you were throwing them, and they were always very stable for you, which was really weird.
I wanted the little baby flip up.
Yeah, that's what I get. I love it. But the MD was like, it didn't have a bead; it just kind of came to a point, and something about that. But
you crushed the FD.
I do love the FD. I love the FD.
G-Line too. Stop sleeping on G-Line. Can we just as a podcast just tell people, stop sleeping on G-Line and G-Star. Knock it off.
What is the
knock it
off?
What
is the deal with G-Line?
Let me interrupt. G-Line it's discontinued from Discmania, so go ahead and go to sleep on it. But you mentioned the G-Line FD. That was one of the FDs that I would bag. Was a G-Line FD.
Oh, we got to get you a stack.
They were really good.
Oh, look out for that wholesale order in about 4 hours.
Well, I checked today; they were out. Actually, are they out? You guys don't have any in Colorado? None.
I don't think so. I think we're tapped out at G-Line. All right. We could do it. Hey, let's do a specialty run. Little Delwood G-Line.
Delwood specialty run.
The G plastic isn't bad. It's a bad rep.
It's good.
It's good.
Bad rep from like every form of disc golfer too. Like
Yeah.
The ballers all the way down to the chuckers. Everybody's like, oh, G-Star? No, thanks.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't understand.
Based on what?
Right.
0.
I love G-Star.
It's a great plastic. Come on, guys.
All right, Sean, hit him with rapid fire something.
Who, besides yourself, is your favorite local big hitter to our area? Who do you keep your eye on? Like, who's your like, you're rooting for that dude? Like, not necessarily a homie. He could be a couple degrees away, but like, you're just like, damn, that guy can golf. Who is that guy for you in our area?
Yeah,
besides Gavin?
Yeah, I was gonna say I mentioned Gavin earlier. Super impressed with him. Otherwise, locally, I love my Uncle T, Anthony Rodriguez.
Yes.
He's a special person. I think we can leave it at that. But I'm always rooting for him. But there's some other people like Dan Schlitter. Dan. I respect Dan quite a bit. He's such an outgoing, outspoken person, positive force. Almost sometimes
an
too
ambassador for the game.
He's been known to be a numbers guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we've heard.
and what I like about Dan too is that he's running events.
Yes.
Maybe it's just because that's when I came up. I was, I didn't mention this earlier, but when I would tour, I would also come home and run tournaments as well. So I was a longtime tournament director. I don't run a whole lot anymore, but I like and respect that Dan is 1,000+ rated player. He works. He also runs events and runs good events. Yep. I like to see stuff like that. Steve Ratchin is someone that I've enjoyed watching come up. He's worked his way up, and Steve actually, I think he's caddied for me in the past at some events, and then
who was better, me or Steve?
Oh well, wow.
Secondary question to my rapid fire: who is a better caddy, me in 2016 at La Mirada Open, or Steve Ratchin wherever he caddied for you?
You have to maintain eye contact with Sean while you answer this question.
Sean Callahan, absolutely, because the first disc golf world tour at La Mirada,
that was so dope, dude. That was a really awesome event for like people that don't realize. Like, I might get a little bit of shit for saying this because the world tour, right? Mm-hmm. What's happening with that? Is it like postponed? Like, is that going to come back? Because I'll tell you what, my point was that to me felt more like top tier next level than most of what I've seen from Disc Golf Pro Tour sans Ledgestone.
Are you talking about the
was 4 years ago
that came out, or the competition?
I'm talking about the vibe of
the entire package.
The feel when you walk up and you're Joe Schmo. Now, mind you, 2016, that was like February, March 2016.
Yeah.
So like this was pre-shop. I was just Joe Blow disc golfer, and I walked up and it was like, yo, this is how it should feel. Like UC was there. He was present. He was in charge. I mean, he came up to me and Sheila. We were just there on vacation. We just wanted to go see. Bonus was getting to caddy for Dana. Also got to caddy for photographer. Who's that dude from Portland that would go out to the events?
Stu.
Stu.
Yeah, did
got
the black
to
and white portraits.
Stu. Got to carry his camera bag for him as well. That was really
Stu's
cool.
the man.
Anyway, it was just very cool. UC came up to us personally and was like, hey, you guys are taking photos. And he gave us a sticker to put on Sheila's camera. So that was like okay for her to be taking photos. It was just like the vibe was like there was somebody who worried about all of the details that I haven't seen worried about at other events that I've been to that are large scale events.
Yeah, and that's why
cool.
That's why you see a lot of hype around the European Open, which is a Discmania event. UC ran like one of the most professional events. It's got huge crowds and all that. Yeah, that's what they brought to the World Tour. It's unfortunate that it was they weren't able to land that big time sponsor and make it financially feasible to continue on with it. But, I loved it. I was still playing a little bit I was still playing then the World Tour, Disc Golf World Tour and Disc Golf Pro Tour launched in the same year. So they both offered different things. The Disc Golf Pro Tour is a little bit of a different vibe. It's come a long way, but the World Tour and what, UC and his team brought to it that's next level. That's what that's what you think of, for professional sports and professional disc golf was
Absolutely.
The Disc Golf World Tour. And that La Mirada was, it was awesome. And La Mirada it's a famous historic course. And then I played really well there. I skipped I'd always gone to the Memorial for the first event that year, and then the World Tour was announced, and I said, I'm going to go to La Mirada, and I went, and then it was awesome to have Sean and Sheila out there, and Sean, like he said, caddied for me. Was that final round, or do you remember which round it was?
I believe.
Yeah,
I think it was final round.
Yeah, I can't quite recall, but coming out of winter and having a kid and all these other things, I came out and played really well and was on, I think, chase card. So I finished like maybe 11th or something. And
you did.
Had an awesome weekend, and it was just a incredibly well ran event. Qualified for USDGC. My first chance of the year, which is always a goal every year. But I didn't end up playing that year. World Tour.
I want to go on record. Dana played really well. I caddied for him. Brian
Here we
Earhart
go.
caddied for him. He took 8th place at Memorial 2 years ago.
Yep.
Gavin Rathman, top 20. I caddied for him. I'm just saying. I just wanted to go on record.
You see Sean Callahan wandering around aimlessly at a Disc Golf Pro Tour or Major or NT.
Pick him up. Throw your bag on his back.
You say, get on this bag.
3 top 20 finishes.
All right, now that Sean is done stroking his caddy ego, Jason,
what's your
bring
question?
us back to the vibe of the quick fire question.
So it's never quick.
I'm scared.
It's not going to be quick.
Let's aim for one round of true quick fire.
I'm scared.
Dana. I'm going to start this question with a word definition. Okay? The word is fictional. Why am I defining that word? Meaning fake or not real? Because the question I'm about to ask you involves that word. I've asked this question of the triumvirate in the past, and Ryan, fully understanding what the word fictional means, when I said, what does your ideal card be, but they have to be fictional, stated 3 of the 4 Ninja Turtles.
Correct.
Great answer. Sean said Mark Wahlberg and Dr. Dre. Those are not fictional.
Gary
people.
Vaynerchuk.
And Gary Vaynerchuk.
They're fictional to me being able to play with them.
They're not fictional. So I define that just so we're all on the same page. What does your ideal fictional card look like? Go.
Got to throw a Ninja Turtle out there.
Which one?
Raphael.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Ooh, Sean's Raphael.
Hot take.
We'll go back to that. Sean is Raphael. But
Yeah.
go ahead. Who else?
From Moana, Maui.
Maui from Moana. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
Got
one.
2 daughters.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Right.
I love Moana. It's classic. If you guys haven't watched
I
it,
have not.
You should. It's
I don't have any
I
kids
do want
yet.
to see Moana all the way through. I've never seen it.
honestly, it's a good one.
I've seen it maybe 350 times.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. It is amazing. It is.
If I walk up to a body of water and I don't start singing, I've been staring
Right. It's great. Yeah.
at the edge of the wall. Even though it's Moana,
Yeah.
there's if I don't start singing that, there's something wrong with me.
Yeah.
I'm sick.
Totally.
All right. Round it off with the third.
Okay,
fictional
so
character.
the third fictional character would have to be, Jack Bauer.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow. Okay.
Bit of a Dwight answer.
Dwight,
there, but I
that's very
it.
Dwight.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's great.
Yeah. Somebody's got to ground the situation there.
Okay. My
Never watched a single episode.
quick fire question. You can watch only one show for the rest of your life. You can watch as much as you want or as little as you want, but all other shows are gone. What's the show you're keeping?
Got to go Office. It's we were talking about it earlier.
You
good
do
company.
listen to this show, don't you?
Yeah.
You knew.
I was talking about it earlier. In fact, with this quarantine, I'm kind of on a second winter type winter mode, and so I'm watching The Office for the second time through this year. So, that's
That's
where I'm at.
That is the only correct answer.
That
Good
is
job.
yes,
Nice
correct,
work.
absolutely. We ran this through a couple episodes ago, and I had the only correct answer, which Jason grew to understand. You've got chicken nuggets. What is your sauce or sauces of choice?
Are these from McDonald's? I mean, am I going like
that you're
gourmet?
answering that question with a question because that does matter.
It does. You can
because
choose.
there's some dope sauces from if you're going to like a place like
Let's
a
do it.
barbecue place, getting some
I want to say mainly mainstream chains. I'm not talking like mom and pop chicken.
Chick-fil-A sauce.
Chick-fil-A sauce.
Even if it was a mom and pop shop, I'll dump Chick-fil-A sauce on those things.
I have no comment. Let's move along.
This is something where you could weigh in on, and it will be relevant to a lot of the couples that we know. Do you enjoy disc golf with your wife? Let me finish.
How could I send Dana home
Let
in
me
a
finish. I have to explain this to my wife when she suggests that we play together. And Ashley is at a completely different level than Sheila. I'm not comparing one to one. Obviously, she's an amazing player.
I've seen her play. She's awesome.
So that does play into the question and the answer. But how does that work for you? It's difficult for me to want to play with my wife, who is a beginner, and my skill level is far superior of hers because she's only played a few times. How do you handle that? Do you like playing with your wife? How do you suggest that other guys play with their wives and or girlfriends and make it happen?
You have 30 seconds to answer.
Yeah, I love I love playing with my wife. I also love going out by myself and playing by myself or with my friends. Disc golf is a lot of different things to me, and it's a lot of different things to everybody at this table and that's listening. And sometimes it's a getaway from family life or get away from work or just something that you like to do and do with friends. And some days I want to go play, I'll go play with anyone, or some days I just need to get out and play by myself. But I do like spending time with my wife and playing disc golf with her. So she is good. The only times I don't like playing with her is when I got to give her a tip because she does not take tips very well, if you know what I mean.
Ooh. Hey-o.
He's gone there. He went there.
Whoa.
Okay. I feel like we could just keep asking all these questions and it would be so much fun. But we got some really good questions from our listeners that they want to fire your way. Mailbag time. Mail time.
Mail time.
Mail time. We don't even need the soundbite anymore, dude.
Nope.
No.
Did you know
Ours is better.
last episode,
Yeah.
it started perfectly on key. By the middle, not so much, but ended out
Perfect.
dead nuts.
Yeah.
And it was a joy and a pleasure to edit.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So I just
Good
wanted
for
to say
us.
that. Yeah.
We're going to keep dialing that in
Go
for
ahead.
you guys.
Yep.
Jason, take us away. Take us into the mailbag, please.
You betcha. I'm going to start with probably the most serious question that came up.
Oh, this is going to be my favorite.
David Hopkins wants to know, does the carpet match the drapes?
David.
He's going to be listening to this on his honeymoon
Yes,
driving
he is.
trip, and I can't wait for the messages to come across once he gets this.
His Facebook post that was like, wedding canceled. Like he had listed everything out and he
Yeah.
was like, there's no way we're missing this trip. And then he showed
Still
the map
going on
of
the
like where they're
honeymoon.
going. So cool.
Up in Montana through
Get after it.
Big sky country. Love it.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know, I have a red beard and brown hair. So I will say yes, the carpet matches the drape.
Carpet matches
Nice.
the drapes.
Still mysterious because we still
Yep.
don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah,
Right.
Does
don't
it
know
match
for
the
sure.
head
What
of
a
the
Dana
beard?
answer.
I think I answered.
Leave it at that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mysterious.
Very Dana Vicich. Okay.
Mysterious.
Jason, let's keep it moving.
Next question is going to come from Jason Callahan.
Oh.
You ready?
I know him.
You ready? Is there anything in your disc golf career that you have had to unlearn?
Ooh,
Unlearn. Yeah. Gosh.
dying his pubes.
I gotta
JK.
I gotta make the carpet match the drapes.
Yeah, I've had to unlearn some really bad form, whether that was coming up, just throwing like a wild man out of control and learning how to get my whole body working together, or more recently, unlearn bad habits on the putting green, like mentally having zero confidence and trying to build confidence up. So yeah, there's been unfortunately a lot of unlearning.
In your opinion, how long do you think it takes for let's say a single form change that you are actively trying to change? How long do you think that takes before it becomes second nature enough that you can start working on something else?
I mean, that's a person thing, but for me, I can think back to probably 4 years ago. I changed my grip. I used to throw my power grip with just 3 fingers, so my pinky was not on the rim, which is kind of a rare thing. I think there's only a couple pros that you maybe see do that, maybe a Steve Rico, but you can definitely get some more power getting that 4th finger under there on the power grip, and I made that switch pretty easily. So the biggest changes have been with the grip, whether it's power grip, and then also learning the fan grip, modified fan grip for mid ranges, and that came pretty quick. Reps in the field, and then just mind over matter, kind of put in your head that you can do it. And
That's great that you brought that up, because it segues nicely into the next question I was going to ask. Matt Pilch wants to know, Dana, you have a very interesting run-up. How did you start to do it, and does it help you add power?
It's a good question. I do have some unique form, and part of that, I think, goes back to when I was out on tour early in those first couple of years, hanging out with a couple different people. I was traveling around with Matt Oram, who has a very unique form. And he kind of has his run up, kind of sneaks up to the tee pad and has his shoulders turned and get in position. And I kind of adopted that a little bit after spending some time with him. I don't necessarily think it gives me more power, but I think it just goes to speak that there's a lot of different ways to skin a cat.
Skinning a cat, ironically, segues into my next question. Mike Stahulak has a question. He wants to know.
Stahulak?
Stahulak?
Mike Stahulak.
Stahulak? That's my first time seeing it. Mike Stahulak.
Sweet kid.
Wants to know, what do you do to keep that beard looking as fresh as a lumberjack?
It's a good question. When it's not social distance times, I like to go to the barbershop and have them trim my beard. But mainly I just wake up and take showers, and I put some...
Wait, go back.
Wait,
Yeah.
what?
Go back.
Yeah.
Take what?
Yeah, take what?
Showers.
Spell it.
Just smell it. Go ahead.
Write this down.
But yeah, daily cleaning and then using some beard oil. Most recently, the beard oil that I've used is from The Alchemist out in Vermont. It's a brewery that most famously makes the Heady Topper, tremendous double IPA. I wish I had one of those right now, or a Focal Banger. Oof. But anyways,
down, please.
You know, like any good brewery, they have a number of things available in their gift shop, and I picked up some beard oil from them that has some sort of connection to hops, and yeah, that's what I've been using. So put that in the morning, and then this is kind of weird, but I've never in my life combed my hair up until the last year or so. I've combed my beard.
Let me tell you, last year we went on a trip to Sandy Point. We do every year. And as kind of a like pump up to the trip, we get each other like little gag gifts and things, you know. And last year, one of Sean's gifts to all of us was a beard brush, a beard comb.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, this is cool. You know, this is funny, whatever. I probably spent 2 hours, a full 2 hours on the ride up to Sandy Point, combing that beard.
It feels good.
It felt so good. Yeah,
just do it.
I imagine like that's what a cat feels like when it finally lets you scratch its belly. That's what it felt like. I could guarantee you. It was amazing.
Yeah, I don't know. I still don't comb my hair, but combing my beard, that was a game changer.
Yeah.
Just because it felt good, but it must have made it look good too. Beard oil from The Alchemist out in Vermont, and then brushing my beard.
Well, there it is.
All right.
Next question, Zach Stone. He says, you've been awesome to our local community in providing us with some really cool courses. Is there one in particular that you favor the most?
Ooh, great question, Zach.
Thank you, Zach. My favorite course design, it's a recent one. It's over in Cary, Illinois, Walnut Hollow.
Someone was just telling me about that a couple days ago.
Yeah, it's a huge piece of property. It was an incredibly difficult design. It took a really long time. I worked with the park planner over there at the Cary Park District. It was a little bit of a different process, you know, working with someone that is not a disc golfer, but he's a park planner. So he brought in a lot of different ideas and things that I maybe didn't think of or consider. That course, like laying out a park, like just getting very deep, like in looking at different parts of the park. He pushed me to look at things, dare I say it, differently. It was a challenge. It was not easy, and we butted heads a little bit, which they hired me, and I was kind of, you know, we kind of butted heads here and there a little bit. But what happened was we came up with an incredible course. Yeah. At least in my opinion, it enters different parts of the park that are wooded, that are hilly, that have openness. So it's got a wide ranging a number of throws that you have to throw. And then the thing that I'm really proud of too is that we did a 6-hole beginner course, which also begins at the same place. So basically, you can go to Walnut Hollow in Cary, Illinois, and you can play the 6-hole beginner course to warm up. They're 125 to maybe 250 foot holes. Or you can go play the big course, which starts out with a par 3, and then it goes par 4, par 5, par 4. Really long holes, tough, and it kind of plays into through some fields that are actually they plant with corn and soybeans, depending on the year. So some years you'll have some fairways lined with cornfields, which adds a huge
impenetrable.
Yes. And you can actually find your disc in there if you get walking in. It's really thick and lined, but you can look down the rows and find your disc. But it adds something interesting that you don't, you might not play every day. So Walnut Hollow, it's got the beginner part where you can learn how to play and then graduate to the bigger course. And then the big course has just got a great variety. I will say that I don't like that it starts out so long. Most of the long holes are on the front. And then it kind of gets more traditional wooded disc golf, and then it gets back to some open holes, but the length is at the front of the course. And I wish it was a little bit more spread out. Yeah. That's one that stands out. And then Tinley Park, the Meadows Disc Golf Park, it's in a meadow. And so there's not a whole lot to offer there, but I feel like the course that I was able to design there was as interesting and as fun as you could do in a meadow. So I think taking a piece of property that isn't perfect for disc golf and making a good disc golf course is a challenge. And I feel like at the Meadows, I accomplished that. So locally here in the J-Town area, I'd say the Meadows. And then if you're looking out further, Walnut Hollow and Cary are some of the ones that stand out in my mind.
I want to jump in on a question I should have asked earlier, but you just stirred it up in my head. Since part of your job with Disc Golf Park is you get commissions for when you get a new course in the ground. Mm-hmm. Is there, and you can this can be just yes, no, you don't have to elaborate. Is there any scenario where somebody, let's say a park comes to you, or you have an opportunity to put a course in somewhere, somebody wants you to put a course somewhere, and you look at the sort of canvas you have to work with, you look at the land they have and the space, and you just say, no, we're not going to no, we can't do that.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's no reason to force disc golf into a park that can't handle it, especially if it's a multi-use park. That's where tons of issues pop up, safety issues, and then just a whole slew of other things. I feel like being able to say, no, you shouldn't, and you can't do disc golf here is an important thing. And it's something that we need to say more often, because, these discs can hurt people, and a poorly designed course in a multi-use park does more harm than it does good for disc golf.
There's probably 5 reasons why not. And one of those things is, if you're going to slap the Disc Golf Park name on it, you want it to be something that, the brand is proud to say, this is one of ours. If there's not enough to work with, or if it's just not a good idea, then I guess I was curious to know, because my job is sales, and when there's a commission opportunity, it's like you really want to chase every commission opportunity, but there are some times where you have to say, this is not right. For this reason, I can't go after this.
Yeah.
So I was just curious to hear if you were of the position that, like, I will try and put a course wherever somebody wants me to put a course, or sometimes you just got to say, no, this is not going to work.
Yeah. I mean, I've put some courses in parks that, you might not think disc golf could fit, but what I do in those instances is put a very short, family-friendly beginner style course. And I think those are something that is missing from a lot of areas.
Missing a lot of that.
Like I'm talking 75 foot holes to 150 foot holes, kind of like what I said with Walnut Hollow, what we did with the short family beginner course. But those courses are so important so that players can play those and then graduate to Delwood or graduate to, whatever big course, because sometimes they come out to the best course in the area, Delwood, and you're through a couple holes and it's a big course. It's daunting. We
experienced that today. We just played a few holes and got down to hole 1, and a group of 2 women and a guy were waiting to tee off, let us play through. And they mentioned that it was their first time. And I can't imagine playing for the first time and stepping up to like hole 4. It's not going to happen.
I also can't imagine like playing here and like, okay, so this is the sport. And then the next time you go play and they go, let's go play Shorewood. And you're like, what?
Yeah, that's different. Yeah, it's a different world.
It's also reminds me of what Amy was saying when she was on the episode, that like some of the courses that are shorter make it easier for women to get involved, and to like, you can put guys and girls playing on the same course in like a mixed thing, and there isn't that opportunity for guys to pull ahead because they're just out driving you every single time. So some of those more shorter family friendly courses, I think, really opens the door to more mixed events, which gets more girls playing, which we all need. The camp that I used to work at has that kind of course. It's like 75 to 150 foot holes. It's meant to teach kids how to play the game. And that's why I really want to do this camp thing, because we'll learn here, and then we'll go see what a big dog course looks like down the street.
Yeah, and that's something that I'm pushing in when I can. I'm working on Maxwell Park down in Normal, Illinois, Bloomington Normal, redesigning. There's an 18-hole course there, redesigning that, and we've got some extra space that they've given for disc golf. So using that space to expand and make a big 18-hole course, but then also balance it with what's going to be a 7-hole beginner course. Great. Because there's high school right there, there's a grade school right there, the college. You know, I don't want to put in a big course and then drive people away from disc golf. So they can show up and literally hole 1 for the short course goes to the left, and hole 1 for the long course goes to the right. So you can play your course. You can also sit there and see see one of the local players throw a big shot on hole 1 and say, that's what a disc can do.
Yes.
And so you kind of, and it gives the experienced players an opportunity to say, hey, let me show you how to hold the disc, or you're curling, or you're doing this or whatever. So it gives opportunities for both sides to either see what a shot looks like, or the experienced player to turn to the family and say, hey, I'll give you a couple tips, and your round will be a lot, it'll help you. Sure. Your round will be a lot more fun.
I remember lots of moments like that when I first started playing, and I was playing at West Park, and I would see guys who just knew what they were doing, and we didn't. So we'd see them get all the way to the basket on some holes that we would joke like, oh, it's going to take me 3 or 4 throws to get to the basket on this.
Probably watching Dana do that.
I mean, God knows. Stop. I mean, it literally could have just been totally any
Dana.
like league.
That was me.
Level. But I remember those moments of being like, dude, how did that just happen? And also, now that you know what you're doing, and when a beginner sees you throw, they're gonna have that moment, and you get the little like butterflies of like, I'm gonna show you something right now. Like, that is 2 very cool feelings in disc golf.
I've realized how important it is. For the longest time with Delwood, it was like, for me, I wanted the red tees to be kind of forgotten about. Like, don't worry about the fact that there's red tees. But now some time has passed, and I've spent a ton more time out here on the property, and I'm seeing who's coming and going, and how many young people and how many girls, especially. The beginner-friendly course has now moved up many phases in what I think is important for the growth of not only Delwood and Delwood disc golf in our local scene. I would say in the next couple of years, like, you will see a red tee 18-hole layout at Delwood with concrete tees, no doubt.
So great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
For sure.
Love it.
And then we can utilize that for like a totally different type of an upshot league, like Leo and I have talked about doing, where the skilled players can go out and play the reds, and it's like birdie bash. It's like medal points and, stuff like that. So fun for everyone.
And I can finally reach a lot of the baskets. When you
finally.
you
can get some birdies.
I saw you put some, you had some nice throws today. I
put 7 under the basket today. No big deal.
All right. We got one last question for the mailbag tonight. This is coming from Joseph Borowski, a.k.a.
Leo
Borowski.
Dr. Leo Marvin.
Which we don't have to sneak in later. We've said his name.
We've said his name now.
Every episode.
The doctor.
Dana.
What is wrong with you?
This is what's wrong with me tonight.
Yeah.
Do you sometimes find a piece of yesterday's dinner deep inside that beard of yours?
Oh, I haven't had a whole lot of dinner findings, but definitely I can taste meals hours later.
I expected you to have what I said this to Leo, but like a survival kit or something tucked way back, like some waterproof matches and like, a K-bar just tucked way back in there just in case.
That is
you shank a drive and lose it deep, and like you could be lost for days.
Very true. Very true.
I mean, we could. I don't know.
Then you have to cut your pants into shorts, and then make them pants again.
And then duct tape them back together. Yeah.
All right. That feels like an appropriate place to wrap up the mailbag. Let's do our trivia corner. Jason, that's still your bag.
Jason here.
Yes. Yes.
Tonight's Trivia Corner still brought to you by A Bag of Tricks, hopefully in Chicagoland Bar soon.
Yes.
Very looking forward to that.
Outdoors or not. Let's
Outdoors
do
not.
it.
Yeah, exactly. You just sometimes find me on street corners asking questions.
Who am I?
So the trivia question tonight is going to be Dana mentioned his band that he's seen multiple times, Widespread Panic, and it made me think, I want to know what the guy's favorite band is. So that's going to be tonight's trivia question. I love music. I love talking about music. I'm going to be looking forward to talking about this in 2 weeks when we discuss our favorite bands. So what is Alex, Ryan, and Sean's favorite band or artist?
I want to talk about it now.
Yeah.
We will give hints. Look for that on Unstable Discourse's Facebook page with the post. Just like before, you're going to go to Unstable Disc Golf Gear's Facebook page. Look for the post with a disc with a question mark on it. That's where you're going to supply your answers. We will discuss them in 2 weeks and announce the winner.
Yeah.
Favorite bands. You got yours? I mean, you knew it right when he asked the question.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Alex?
Yep.
I have, you make me think about it for more than 10 seconds. I know who, like, I'm like, okay, I'm going to say this one.
Yeah.
But I have other bands that I think I may love for other reasons more so. If you're putting me on the spotlight, this is my go-to answer.
Yep.
Sure. That's what we're
got
looking
it.
for.
Yeah.
Dana, favorite band.
Did we say it already?
Say
He
it
said
one
that's
point
the
then?
shows he's seen.
Oh, sure. That doesn't
said he's seen them
necessarily
a
mean they're your
bunch.
favorite. Yeah.
Is it still that's
Widespread
favorite band?
Panic?
Yeah, I love Widespread Panic, but my all-time number one will be Neil Young.
Ooh.
God.
Heavy hitters.
Homing
Yeah.
thunder.
That's good stuff.
He gets more mysterious every time he speaks.
How did you come on?
Mysterious.
How did you come on for us to learn more about you and have us have? And you're leaving with us like, I know less.
More questions.
I know
than
less.
before.
Than,
More questions than
More
before.
questions.
there's gonna have to be a second episode.
Great. Dana part 2.
Yeah, the beard returns. So we've got our trivia challenge out. Let's give a preview of our next episode. You guys know. Don't make me say it. You guys know. Listeners, you know what it is.
That I know.
You know. For real, we'll let you know when we know. One special thing we forgot to mention while we were earlier in the episode. We got the opportunity to sit down with Matt Adamczak of the disc golf, well, we'll say the ultimate disc golf destination. So we referenced this a little bit last week, and I think a little bit on this episode too, but in a chain of islands in Finland, the area is called Åland. There are 16 different disc golf courses getting put into the same area. It's never been done before. Nothing like it exists anywhere, so it's completely game-changing. And we got to speak with the guy who is spearheading that project. So we did a Zoom meeting with him, and we're going to release the video of that sometime here pretty soon. Just keep an eye out. We have set up our YouTube page, which we have not done anything with before. So this will be the first bit of content that makes it onto our YouTube. Keep an eye out. We will post it. So you guys, if you're interested in hearing more about this project, we'll have that for you. And it was a really cool interview. He was a very cool guy. And it was me and Ryan and Matt's and just learning everything we could about this whole project. So I think you guys will really like that. Make sure you check it out. We'll get it out to you as soon as we can. Thank you for listening.
Thank you to Dana for coming out
Yes,
and
thank you, Dana, for coming out.
supplying some beverages and hanging out and chit-chatting.
Humoring us.
Yeah.
We got to know you just a little bit better.
And not nearly enough.
And not enough.
This was enjoyable. As I said, I'm very vain. I love talking about myself. So bring me back for round 2, round 3.
We're doing
I'll
it.
be there, and
Consider
then
it done.
anything to get me out of the house.
Yes.
All right. Thank you guys for listening. It has been a blast as always. And until next time, keep it tight. And don't forget to leave a review and tell everyone you know about this show.
Unstable Discourse.
Good night.
See ya.
Catch you next time. Peace.
Goodbye.
That's right.
Listen to Unstable Discourse on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, or right from Buzzsprout.com. And if you have the time, leave us a rating and review. It helps the podcast get to more listeners.
Unstable Discourse is a Top Secret Studios production.